Hi, my name is Alison Emery from Move With Awareness, and today I'm going to teach you a somatic movement called the back lift. Now this movement is quite a powerful movement, and it helps to release the muscles on the back so that the muscles don't contract when you don't want them to and you gain more control over them. It's also a very good movement to help with back pain. But like I say, it is a very powerful movement. So in order to do this movement, you need to lie on the front of your body. So lie on your belly. And place your one arm down by your side, and then one arm so that your elbow is bent, but it's not up against your chest, and your fingertips are up near your nose. And then your feet aren't close together, but they're a nice safe distance apart. And we're going to break this down into stages. So the first stage of this movement is just going to be lifting your elbow as far up as is comfortable. Imagine that you've got a fly or something on your elbow and you're trying to flick it away, and then let it float back down. And if you notice any jumpy, jerky, shaky movements as you do this, then they could indicate that there's some sensory motor amnesia there. So just try and slow the movement down even more. So do that again. Lift your elbow. And notice the contraction in your upper traps, up here in your shoulder, as you lift that elbow. And then slowly let it float back down. And now, keeping your hand and elbow on the floor, I want you just to lift your head. Just an inch or two off the floor, and then slowly lower your head back down. And then do that again. Lift your head. You want to make sure that your head is still turning to the side. You're not lifting your head and then turning your head to look at the floor. Make sure that your head is still turning to the side as you lower your head back down. Now what you might notice is that you might start to feel this in your neck. So are you using your neck muscles to lift your head, or are you using your back muscles? If you're using your neck muscles, then you will get some neck pain. So try this again, and what might help is if you find your hip creases, put your hands on your hip creases, and before you do anything else, just send your hip creases forward into your hands. And then release. And do that again. Just send your hip creases forward into your hands, and now lift your head. And then slowly lower your head back down, and see if that helps with the neck pain. Do that again. Just send your hip creases forward and then lift your head. And can you sense the lifting of your head coming from the contraction of the muscles in your back? So now put your arm back down by your side. Once you've explored that, put your hand back up near your nose. And then just lift your head again by sending those hip creases forward. Do it on an in-breath. So inhale, send your hip creases forward, and then lift your head. I'm not putting any pressure. I'm not doing that. I'm just letting my head float up. So I'm not lifting my head by pushing into my hand. I am just sending my hip creases forward, and then I'm lifting my head. Okay. So now I want you to imagine that your hand is glued to your face, and I want you to lift your head, hand and elbow all at the same time. We're going to do it on an in-breath. So as you inhale, send your hip creases forward, and then lift your head, hand and elbow off the floor an inch or two, and then slowly lower your head, hand and elbow back to the floor. Now lead with your elbow. Let your elbow come first, because there is going to be a slight rotation. So inhale, let your hip creases go forward. So it's almost like I'm trying to look over my shoulder, and then slowly lower your head, hand and elbow back down to the floor. Now as you do this, did you notice anything happening in your opposite leg? So do that one more time and see what's going on in your opposite leg. So inhale, send your hip creases forward and lift your head, hand and elbow. And then slowly lower your head, hand and elbow back to the floor. And then what did you notice? Did you notice that your opposite leg wanted to join in? And that's because it's working. Your body's working as a system, and it's working on the diagonal. So now keep your head, hand and elbow in contact with the floor and just lift your leg. So slide it along and let it lift off the floor. Try and keep that knee bent, lifting it from the hip, and then slowly lower it down again and see where you sense a contraction. Do you sense the contraction going up the back of the leg, into the buttock, and then perhaps even on a diagonal going all the way to the shoulder? Just try that again. Do it on inhale. As you inhale, lift your leg and then slowly lower it back down to the floor. Okay. So now we're going to put this all together. We're going to take a breath in, and as we inhale, we're going to lift our head, hand and elbow and our opposite leg. And then as we exhale, we're going to let everything float back down to the floor. It's nice and slow movement. So when you're ready, inhale, send those hip creases forward and lift your head, hand and elbow and opposite leg. Really sense that diagonal contraction, and then as you exhale, slowly lower your head, hand and elbow back to the floor. And then roll over onto your side, onto your back. Put your knees down straight, put your arms down by your side, and just get a sense of how one side compares to the other. And then repeat the same on the other side.